Deceive, distort, deny, distract, dissimulate. There are many ways to lie and many reasons to resort to this tactic. However, no one needs to lie when they can get what they want by telling the truth. One big lie being told by the wakesurfing industry in its so-called Wake Responsibly campaign is that wakesurfing wakes do not carry enough energy to have a significant impact on shorelines when wakeboats operate 200 feet from shore. The industry is using this lie to make nonsensical claims such as education, not regulation, will somehow protect shorelines and other boaters. The truth is that wakeboats cause serious problems, and the wakesurfing industry knows it. Staying 200 feet away from docks and shorelines does little to allow boat wakes to diminish enough to minimize adverse effects when they hit the shore. Shorelines continue to be damaged, which is why citizen groups in over 30 states have banded together to protect their lakes and rivers. So why the lie? Well, wakesurfing is the root of many kinds of profit, and the wakesurfing industry wants to protect that. The big lie has become the basis for the industry's so-called Wake Responsibly public relations campaign, which the industry presents to legislatures, state boating agencies, and the general public to create the misimpression that the negative impacts of wakesurfing are easily mitigated. The big lie is supposedly based on a study funded by the wakesurfing industry that measured the wakes from a single wakeboat at wakesurfing, wakeboarding, and cruising speeds. The study did not compare wakeboats to traditional recreational boats, nor did it consider aspects such as the effect of multiple boats operating at once, or the huge waves these boats generate when they stop or turn. The discussion in the study's report says nothing special about 200 feet, much less concludes that 200 feet is protective. In fact, the data in the report show that a wake 210 feet away from a boat in wakesurfing mode has 2.5 to 2.7 times the energy as the wake only 10 feet from the same boat when in cruising mode. This critically important fact seems to have been glossed over in the study report and ignored altogether in the wakesurfing industry's characterization of the study. Instead of being forthright with this finding, the report makes the discredited argument that boat wakes are inconsequential compared to the waves generated by wind. This faulty analysis disregards that soil particles become entrained only if the wave energy exceeds a certain threshold, which is why small wind waves do not cause erosion, but powerful boat wakes do. It is well accepted by most researchers that comparing boat wave energy to cumulative wind wave energy is meaningless when evaluating the impacts of boat wakes. The wakesurfing industry has followed up on the big lie by funding a horrifically faulty study published by a disreputable publisher of sham academic journals. This study involved calculating the theoretical prop wash from a theoretical wakeboat and, despite having no reasonable basis to do so, predictably concluded that not only is 200 feet protective of shorelines, that wake surfing can be done in water bodies as shallow as 10 feet without damaging bottom habitats. This so-called study also engaged in the discredited practice of comparing boat wakes to wind waves. Studies by independent researchers have reached very different conclusions. One notable study was published by the St. Anthony Falls Laboratory at the University of Minnesota in February 2022. This study evaluated two wakeboats having different weights and two traditional ski boats, and found that the wakeboats required distances greater than 500 feet to attenuate wakes to energy levels equivalent to those of traditional ski boats. Another study conducted on the Willamette River in Oregon during 2018 found that at least 400 feet was required to attenuate wakesurfing waves to energy levels approaching those of conventional ski boats. A field investigation conducted in 2019 on a lake in British Columbia starkly contrasted the conclusions of the industry-funded study that was published in the sham journal. This investigation documented dramatic effects on the lake sediments 10 feet below the surface and observed effects as deep as 26 feet. So why would the wakesurfing industry falsely promote that 200 feet is responsible? One reason is that a 200-foot shoreline limit is only a minor imposition for wakeboaters on most water bodies. It fits waterways as narrow as 400 feet wide, doesn't require wakesurfers to stay away from other boats, and doesn't address the problem of prop wash damaging river and lake bottoms. In other words, it allows the industry to foster the illusion that it cares about the environment, other people's property, and the safety of other boaters. And it requires wakeboaters to give up very little in return. The claim that 200 feet is protective also distracts attention from other serious concerns about wakesurfing. The pitched angle at which these boats operate when wakesurfing generates an enormous amount of prop wash that can scour lake and river bottoms. This not only damages benthic habitat and creates turbidity, it releases nutrients such as phosphorus that promote eutrophication and algal blooms. Likewise, 200 feet is not protective of other boaters, although for some wakesurfers it would be a significant improvement. The reality is that there is really no way to mitigate the impacts of huge wakes other than to maintain distances much further than 200 feet from shorelines and other watercraft. Another reality is that when the water depth needed to avoid scouring lake and river bottoms is taken into account, wakesurfing is inappropriate for many bodies of water. In summary, 200 feet is an irresponsible ruse, not a solution. Our lakes and rivers are valuable. We should take better care of them.